Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Indie Comics Review. This is the show where every week I review 3 indie comic books. If that's the kind of content you find interesting, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, if you would like to support the channel, there's a link down below to my Alternative City comic shop where I sell t-shirts, buttons, pins, and all kinds of other cool stuff that I make. So let's get started right away with the first book, which is Absolution #1. It is written by Peter Milligan and drawn by Mike Deodato Jr., and it is on the AWA Upshot Comics label. Nina Ryan was a hired killer who brought nothing but pain and suffering to the world. Now she has a month to prove that she can change, a month to make up for her crimes and find absolution, or the bombs that have been implanted in her head will explode, killing her instantly. As her journey of atonement is live streamed to a fickle public, Nina is about to discover that the road to redemption might be splattered with blood. So some people might have a problem with the chaotic panel layout of this book. Personally, I didn't mind it. I think it actually fit the mood of the story in this cyberpunk, chaotic live streaming murder kind of a reality. Nina Ryan is, she used to be a criminal and she's still an assassin, but now she's working to attain absolution. She has a month to fulfill these missions, and if she fulfills these missions, then her head will not be blown up by the device that's been planted in her skull. And while this is going on, there's also an implant, like a retinal implant, so she can stream everything that she does to the internet, and people can actually vote on the severity of the attack that she uses. It's almost kind of Red Room-like in a way, except for the masses. And the more brutal the more artistically brutal, I should say, that she pulls off these jobs, then the higher her score of her score from the public will be, and therefore better her chances of not getting her head blown off. There's a tense moment near the end of this story where Nina has to make a decision about if she's going to go off the rails or if she's going to stick to the plan and stay on the track to her so-called absolution through the method that she's been offered, or is she going to go a different route. And it's very well played, the way that they do it in the story. So I won't spoil anything about that. That's one of the best parts about this book. Peter Milligan is back in a big way. Mike Deodato Jr. also is back in a big way. They've both been around for a while. They've both been, they had their degree of success and I guess lack of success and humbling moments. I really started to like this team of Mike Deodato Jr. and Peter Milligan as a creative team. Their art and their story work so well together. And in the back matter, they both talk about their own personal instances of absolution and how it's no coincidence that they get to work together to make this book. This is a really interesting book as far as I know the cyberpunk world and the aspect of mercenaries a la the Suicide Squad being forced to prove themselves again. Has been done before many times, but it depends on what the creators bring to the story. And these two creators bring a personal aspect to it that I think makes it kind of special. So yeah, I think Absolution #1 is a book that I would most likely check out again. So Absolution #1, AWA Upshot by Peter Milligan and Mike Deodato Jr. Definitely worth a read. The next book is There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd #1. It is written by Ed Brisson and illustrated by Gavin Guidry, and it is on the Aftershock Comics label. 15-year-old Patrick Todd lives on the run, hiding out in seedy motels, living out of his backpack and making sure that his mom, recently struck down by a mysterious illness of the mind, is well cared for. But doctors cost a lot of money. And so Patrick turns to a life of crime. Using the telepathic abilities he's been hiding all his life, he forces the worst of the worst to rob banks, taking the money before making them turn themselves in to the police. But someone has taken notice of Patrick's schemes. A reckoning is coming. Will the police find Patrick in time to save him? Or will he become yet another victim of the killer called Zeus? Written by Ed Brisson, Beyond the Breach, Uncanny X-Men, Old Man Logan, and illustrated by Gavin Guidry, Captain America, The Ghost Army, Going to the Chapel. There's something wrong with Patrick Todd weaves a web of intrigue, deceit, and hot pursuit as danger closes in from all directions. Man, we are truly in a renaissance of indie comic books. That's 2 weeks in a row that I had really good selection of indie comic books to choose from these reviews. And I don't see an end in sight, quite frankly. So yeah, Patrick Todd, something wrong with Patrick Todd is something that really got my attention from the very first panel. The way, this is also a trope that's been used before, but depends on how it's used. Once again, he gets these, the kid Patrick Todd gets these the worst people, and the person that he gets in the beginning of the book is one of the worst of the worst. And this is a guy that definitely deserves some some bad things to happen to him if anyone does. After this ne'er-do-well pedophile turns himself into the police, there's always a smart cop. There's always a smart cop, right? He's not the one that's just like waiting around for to find someone to frame and go back to eating donuts. This is a smart cop who just doesn't see things adding up and decides to like look deeper and sees these witnesses, or I should say these suspects. There must be a link between these suspects who all of a sudden are robbing banks, committing crimes, and turning themselves in after hiding the money and having no memory of the event. So this cop decides to question this last suspect. And while he's questioning him, the guy just has an attack. They take him to the hospital and he dies. Meanwhile, Patrick is taking care of his mom. He took all the money that the pedo guy stole from the bank and used it to pay for his mother's stay in a care facility and also to pay for his rent in the hotel. Not a lot is given on his background as to why he's running away or why he's not with his father, but I'm sure that's yet to be disclosed in the story. But also what's happening, not just the smart cop is closing in on him, there's also this killer named Zeus, which is revealed at the end, who was just this machete-wielding psychopath who for some reason has an end for Patrick. Maybe he's drawn to him because of the psychic link. But then Patrick has got his hands full with these common thugs who've also been watching him. He's been noticed. He's not been under the radar as much as he thinks, and he's not as good as he thinks and as streetwise as he thinks. So a reckoning and karma have a date with young Patrick Todd coming up very soon. And it's something that I'll probably stick around to see what happens to this kid, because I like the concept, I like the writing, I like the art. A lot of good things to say about there's something wrong with Patrick Todd. So yeah, this is another book in this slew, in this renaissance of great indie comic books that are coming my way that I will be checking out in the upcoming months. The last book is Mind Management, Bootleg #1. It is written by Matt Kent and drawn by Farrell Dalrymple, and it's on the Dark Horse Comics label. Mind Management is weird, mind-blowing, paranoid storytelling. It's the first ever comic book from Flux House, Matt Kent's all-new imprint, which features crime, science fiction, and humor stories, all told in startling and untraditional ways. Upcoming publications will take many forms, and the polybagged variant versions of Mind Management will contain a card that is playable as a playing card or as a part of a new Flux House game. Previously in Mind Management, a covert government agency of psychic super spies fell into oblivion after one of their top agents went rogue. What looked like the end was only the beginning, as a former leader of Mind Management explores the darkest parts of the world and recruits a team of forgotten agents to rebuild the organization, bend reality, and to go to war with a competing agency. Yeah, Mind Management is, in fact, a weird book, but weird books are right up my alley. It begins in what's called New Zanzibar, because I guess old Zanzibar was destroyed by this perfect storm of earthquake and hurricane that happened, I believe, 20 years ago. And this kid, he's got a pet rat that's pretty well trained, and he carries on his shoulder. This kid is like hustling in the streets of New Zanzibar, selling like bootleg records, priceless copies of vinyl and stuff like that. And he has the urge to go to this place that this office building where he walks in, and it's like the woman says they've been expecting him, and he goes to a different room in this place, and this guy is waiting for him to give him a test, and he goes through this test with this guy, and everyone seems to be expecting him and knows who he is. He's not quite sure why he's there, but he continues to go through the motions until he's had enough, and then he even comes back to the woman he met in the beginning, who reveals herself to be a person called the Eraser, and she explains to him about his destiny, where he came from, and what she wants of him as far as putting this organization back together again. And she talks about how that the disaster that destroyed Zanzibar was not an accident, and how he's got to find this person who's a missing link, a part of all this chaos that's going on. And there's a lot of production as far as the look of this book too. There's like, it's printed, and one thing I like about it is printed on newsprint, which is very kind of a cool touch. It's kind of muted colors as far as the color scheme goes. And there's like, they talk about the playing cards that are going to be in certain issues of the book. I didn't pick up any of those issues, but maybe I'll look for those. And at the back of the book, there's there's like an old school kind of an ad for a board game, and maybe there's going to actually be a game. There's a lot of thought been put into this book. From the first page, fake advertisement that they give you, that they put a lot of thought into, because some people skip that page and they address that in the advertisement, and it's just so well produced. And if Matt Kent's going to be doing an imprint, I'm going to be reading that imprint. He's one of my favorite writers. So Mind Management Bootleg, oh man, this is it's weird, but it's really the kind of stuff that I really love. And this is the third book this week. It's 2 weeks in a row I've had great books, not a clunker in the bunch. I mean, not just books that I kind of like, these are books that I really, really like. And Mind Management Bootleg is just the cherry on the sundae this week. So that's all for this Indie Comics review. No Artist Alley this time. This time is not my fault. I'm having email troubles, so my carrier, my internet provider just really sucks, and they provide next to no support. There's something wrong with the emails. I can't even access the books that people have sent me via the PDF in my email. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. I'm in the process of straightening that out, but hey, you know, these tech things can take a while. So until then, it's going to be the regular 3 books for a minute. But thanks for stopping by and checking us out. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn notifications on if you want to see when I'm making my next video. So until next time, see you guys in the funny papers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.